wildest and woolliest reincarnation of the Old West in the world today. For 5 dynamic days out of every summer, Cheyenne lives again the explosive drama of the hard-living, hard-riding cow country. It's a pounding spectacle.
There's 100 years of history, and 100 before that, all gathered in the thinking going on beneath his hat. And back behind his eyeballs and pumping through his veins is the ghost of every cowboy that ever held the reins. Every coil in his lasso's been thrown 1,000,000 times. His quiet concentration's been distilled through ancient minds. It's evolution working when the silver scratches hide, and a ghostly cowboy chorus fills his head and says, "Let's ride."
And the untamed fury of outlaw horses and cattle.
The famous and the rowdy, the savage and the sane, the blue bloods and the hot bloods in the Quartieri strain, all knew his mother's mothers, or was it his daddy's kin, till he's nearly purely cowboy, born to ride and bred to win.
This rodeo is so much different than a lot of the ones we go to, you know, just all the history behind it. You know, you go back there and they have these benches back there where if you're previous champion of the rough stock events, they put your little plaque on the bench, and, you know, every guy you've ever looked up to has won this rodeo, so I want to get my name on the bench back there this year.
Freckles Brown might pull his bull rope, Casey Tibbs might jerk the flank, Bill Pickett might be hazing when he starts to turn the crank. Plus Remington and Russell looking down his buckhorn sight, all watching through the window of this cowboy's eyes tonight. And standing in the catch pen, or in chute number 9, is the offspring of a mountain that's come down from olden time. A volcano waiting quiet till they climb upon his back, rumbling like the engine of a freight train on the track. A cross between a she-bear and a bad 4-wheel drive, with the fury of an eagle when it makes a power dive. A snake who's lost its caution, or a badger gone berserk. He's a screaming, stomping, clawing, rabid, mad dog piece of work. From the rollers in his nostrils to the foam upon his lips. From the hooves as hard as granite to the horns with dagger tips. From the flat black staring shark's eye that's the mirror of his soul shines the challenge to each cowboy, like the devil calling roll. In the seconds that tick slowly till he climbs upon his back, each rider faces down the fear that makes his mouth go slack and cuts his guts to ribbons and gives his tongue a coat. He swallows back the panic gorge that's rising in his throat. The smell of hot blue copper fills the air around his head. Then a single solid shiver shakes away the doubt and dread. The cold flame burns within him till his skin's as cold as ice. And the dues he paid to get here are worth every sacrifice. All the miles spent sleepy driving, all the money down the drain, all the if-I's and the nearlies, all the bandages and all the pain. All the female tears left drying, all the fever and the fight are just a small down payment on the ride he makes tonight. And his partner in this madness that the cowboys call a game has a ton of bucking thunder bent on proving why he came. But the cowboy never wavers. He intends to do his best. And of that widowmaker, he expects of him no less. There's a solemn, silent moment that every rider knows when the time stops on a heartbeat like the earth itself was froze. Then all the ancient instinct fills the space between his ears till the whispers of his phantoms are the only thing he hears. When you get down to the cutting and the leather touches hide and there's nothing left to think about, he nods and says, "Outside." Then frozen for an instant against the open gate, his history turned to flesh and blood, warrior incarnate. And while they pose like statues in that flicker of an eye, there's something almost sacred. You can see it if you try. It's guts and love and glory, one mortal's chance at fame. His legacy is rodeo, and cowboy is his name.